Hi there. So this is the next video on the workflow admin, and in this video I want to show you something about the approver and about the deputy. First, the approver. So who is the approver? The approver are the persons who are allowed to approve a workflow. There are two kinds of approvers. One is the final approver, and the other kind is the pre-approver. In a workflow in Effective, there can always be only one final approver, and that's the person at the end of the approval chain. So the last person approving something in a chain is the final approver. If you have a customer who says, well, we have two final approvers or three final approvers, that cannot be supported in Effective, but that has never been an issue, because then you just sort it in the other way, that there's somebody at the end saying yes or no. For example, if you have a board meeting, then it's normal that the legal counsel or the one who makes the minutes does the final approval on behalf of the board. So that's a final approval. And before the final approval, you can add additional persons being pre-approvers. And the advantage of having a pre-approver is that the final approver sees who has already upfront approved a request. So he or she can very easily see who has already approved the request. So those are final and pre-approvers. The final approver of a workflow is defined in the workflow admin. I'm here at the project portfolio again, and there are two types of final approver. One is a user, you can add with a name, or the other one is a role. So if I put in let's say a role, for example, I don't know, initiator or project lead, I'm gonna say plus, and that means that the project lead is allowed to approve certain topics as a final approver in the project portfolio. So if we go here now, open this project, and then have a look at the approval request, we can see that the final approver is Hannes. So why is Hannes shown? Hannes is shown because he's the project lead, and we have defined that the project lead is allowed to approve something. We can add other persons in here too, for example, Odo. And if we would go then into the approval request, we get the choice from two persons, Hannes or Odo. Both can approve this approval request. Be careful if you choose some role over here that is not fulfilled, so that nobody's in there. For example, director, I can see nobody's in the role of director. So I choose here a director and then add plus and go over here, go for the workflow. Then it says there is no template. Of course, this is not an easy error message, but this error message can easily be, let's say, fixed by adding a person over here, for example, Bao, and then start the workflow again. Oh, sorry, did not need to click there. Start the workflow again, and then you can see that it can be started as Bao is now the final approver. So if you want to set a final approver for the Budget and Gate workflow for a specific portfolio, you use this section of approvers. Thanks for your attention.